Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's afternoon session. Please welcome on stage our next speakers, Tomas, Erida, and Vasil.
Thank you. Welcome everyone to What's New in Web Client for AL Developer Session. I'm Tomas Grubliauskas. I'm Engineering Manager at Business Central Client Team, responsible for web and mobile clients. And here today I have with me Erida.
My name is Erida Nurce. I'm a software engineer in Tomas's team.
Yes. What we're going to talk today is a bit of productivity updates in the web client specifically. That's the part where, from the AL developer's perspective, you don't have to do anything. You just get them for free. But it's always good to know how to use these features, how to present them, and educate your users how to get best use of them. And then we're going to step into a part where we do have some new AL concepts and where we're going to show how to utilize them from code. And lastly, we'll talk a bit about partner telemetry, what's new in there, and we'll also have the usual a bit of from the lab section. It's so secret that it's not even on the agenda now. So yeah, let's start with productivity updates. That's the part where you don't have to do anything and you get all the goodies for free, and Erida will show them.
Nice, let's get started. Our first productivity update is in Role Explorer and Report Explorer. As you know, Role Explorer and Report Explorer is the best place to go to if you want to explore pages and reports that are available in Business Central, not just for your role, but also for different departments and different profiles. So we know that when you look at that big overview, sometimes it can get a bit overwhelming, and throughout different past releases, we have added features that make that a bit easier for you, such as allowing you to find things in Role Explorer and also filter according to usage category or department. But we know there's still improvement to be done, and that's what our most recent update is about, where we have added new rich tooltips in Role Explorer and Report Explorer, and these are based on your page's about title and about text as you have defined them in AL. As you see in the picture on the right, when you have such information available, as soon as you hover over one of these links to a page or a report, you'll see this info icon showing up, and when clicking on it, this information will be available with the about title and about text. Also keep in mind that this tooltip supports Markdown, so sometimes in your description you might have a link to another related page or report, so that's supported as well. Something else which is available in this tooltip, as you see this icon over here, but also for the pages that don't have these properties provided, we have the opportunity to open things in the new window. And why that's relevant is because, of course, you're looking through Role Explorer, Report Explorer. Sometimes maybe even the tooltip isn't enough to understand what the page is about, and you just want to open it and figure it out. So what would happen before is you click on a page, and then you find out it's the wrong one maybe, not what you're looking for. So when you go back, you're no longer on Role Explorer because it has just closed up behind you. Now, if you're just looking around, trying to figure out what page you want to see, you can just click this open in new window icon and you remain in the context that you were in while exploring all these pages and reports, and you also get to see this page or report that you were curious about. Nice. The other one is new page sizes for modern screens. So as telemetry tells us, as we also see, we are using bigger and wider monitors, and a guy in my team even has a monitor big enough that we all call it a TV.
It literally is a TV.
It is a TV. So we need to make the most out of it. And truly, we weren't really in Business Central, especially when you open pages in slim mode. You had to compromise between either showing a page with 2 columns of data or opening the fact box and seeing just 1 column of the data. And then the margins on the side that are unusable would be huge. So we know that's not the optimal choice, and we have delivered improvements to that. As you can see in here, this is the new slim mode. It has become wider, and you're now able to, even in slim mode, look at anything that's in your fact box, all the relevant information that you have in there, while also having a great overview of all the fields in the page next to it. Some other changes that we've done in here are also changing a bit and improving the ratio between how much space the caption of a field takes versus the value, so that you can read more of the caption before it gets truncated. So my laptop here is quite narrow on the screen, and I just wanted to show you this before and after of what it looks like. So you can see on top the previous size for the slim mode, where we have a lot of space on the side, and then with the new, those margins have become smaller. But I think where this feature really shines is the second screenshot over here, where we go from this very slim page with a fact box opened to a wider page that allows you to view more data at the same time while also having the fact box open. Related to making the most out of your screen estate, we've also enabled FactBox resizing in a previous release. And in this one, we also enabled keyboard support for resizing, so you can just Shift F10 to do the same thing. What FactBox resizing allows you to do is that you get to choose how big your FactBox is on the page. Sometimes you have, as I have in here in the case of the payables agent, where we have the PDF previewed on the side next to the lines, and you want to see them side by side. If you make the fact box wide enough, you can truly read anything in your preview and just compare it over there without needing to open the PDF. Also, you might have some very valuable control add-ins with information that you want to see while you're using the page, so this is also great for that. What happens in here is that as you choose this preference of how big the fact box should be on a page, we memorize that. And it's memorized separately for the slim mode and for the wide mode. So wherever you leave it, that's what you come back to, and the fact box is just as you prefer.
Just to note, it's being stored in the local storage in the browser,
yes.
So it's not part of your profile or customization. So this data would be cleared if you open a new, for example, incognito session.
So if I log in from Tomas's computer, I won't get my preferences anymore, but I can make new ones.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's also important to note that this is available just as you open the page and you see it. You don't need to start personalizing or designing to resize, which is also great. So let's go ahead and see all of these in action inside the product. Starting, as we said, from Role Explorer or Report Explorer, you have these new icons available here, but as we said, they're very valuable when you go and look at what's available for all of the roles. And as I said, once you start hovering over these links, you'll see this info icon that's showing up, and you can show more information about these reports, and you can learn what they're about. And even for those pages that don't have those about title and about text defined, you can just open them in a new window. So while that loads, you're still able to use Role Explorer in here, go around, maybe open another page, and the page that you went to was just loading in the background, and it's ready. Once you're done, just close it, go ahead. You don't have to worry about losing your context in all the searching that you were doing. Then, for example, if I open the vendors list, we're able to see those changes with the slim mode and how much space it is giving me, allowing me to work with. So this is the slim mode, right? And I can, even if I open one of these vendor cards, I can see that if I go in the slim mode, the page is still quite wide. I have resized previously the fact box, so it opened exactly where I left it off. But if I want, I can just make some more space for my fields. And when I go back to that wide layout view, the preference of the fact box would be just as I left it over there, and my preferences are saved. So let's go to the next one, Tomas.
Yes, you can just advance. A new shortcut. This actually has a long story. It's almost a year-long story for this shortcut. Not the time it took to implement, but where it started. This was actually an idea from you, the community. Last time we were in BC TechDays, I really would like to remember the person's name who suggested this to me. I cannot, sorry for that. But if you are in the conference, I can find a t-shirt for you. So the idea was that it's really painful to copy values from read-only lists, because by default, what happens in a list is that, I'll just zoom a little bit, that if I am on a row and I click Ctrl+C to copy, entire row is copied. And most of the time, that's what you want, but in some data entry scenarios, you actually want just the cell value. And, well, technically, it is possible to do that. You will need to do a bit of a mouse ninja, and you can select the text in the cell, and then click Ctrl+C, and you'll get the value copied. But that's painful. especially if you look using a trackpad like I do today. So now instead we have a new shortcut, which if I focus the cell value and I click Ctrl+Shift+C, it's going to tell me that I copied the cell value. And now it's a lot easier to transfer values outside of BC, face them in emails in Teams. So thank you, community, for this great idea. Yes.
I can help.
Yes, you can advance in the slides. Yeah. Another thing that we built on top of is key tips. We heard loud and clear through feedback that shipping key tips only in English was very limiting, and there's plenty of beautiful languages in Europe and abroad and beyond that that could really benefit from key tips. So we have extended key tip support into many other languages. We started just looking at telemetry and looking at the most used languages, and we started from there. So languages like German, French, Spanish, Scandinavian languages, Danish, Norwegian is now supported. It's not just flipping a flag for us. We actually do spend a lot of time figuring out, does the system we created for generating these key tips make sense? Because you can understand that changing it afterwards when it's shipped is very painful. We really know how important it is to have stability in the system, so all the productivity shortcuts, tips your users have learned, it stays consistent between versions. So that's why we are rolling kind of slowly. Next thing that we're going to most likely look into is just by default enabling all Latin character-based languages, and I will be very happy because on the list somehow Lithuanian, my native language, is not there. I probably missed a meeting about that.
And this was also something that was asked in BC TechDays when we presented key tips. So
yes.
We deliver. You ask and we deliver.
Yes. So be sure to ask questions after the session because we listen. Yes. Next, modern search. I actually also had conversations about that in last BC TechDays. It's not only our team's contribution to this. We work together with a server team, but we have finally found a way to introduce more modern search that doesn't have the same performance issues when we are dealing with really big data sets, because we basically would run into cases where there would be no mitigations. The only thing was add filters, don't use the search in the list page, otherwise your tenant might be busy for a while. So modern search is smarter, it's free text based, it's also opt-in. You do need to, first of all, enable this feature. It's still in preview. It's scheduled to be GA in 27. That's still a bit of a question. We're still looking for feedback and would like to hear how you're using this feature. Because I actually asked a poll on the session, and I'm seeing, last time I checked, was 20 responses, and half people have this enabled, and half are not. So I probably would be interested to hear after that from both sides, people who are using it, and from people for what the reasons are of not using it yet. Right. So the way the opt-in works, you can advance to the next one. Opt-in works is that by default we tagged a bunch of fields in our application with new property that includes fields into the index for this feature to be enabled. If users ends up on a page where this is not tagged, it simply falls back to the old behavior. So this is opt-in, and you can also use that from code. That's the bottom example here, so you can use the new modern search example from code as well. So let's look quickly how that looks in the product. Yes, you can see my screen. First, feature management. Of course, I need to have the feature enabled. You should be very familiar with this page, trying all the latest goodies from us. Search. And yes, it's enabled for all users for me, so that's very good. And I'm going to just show one typical example of, I'm a new user in Business Central, I have my items list, I have a bunch of items in our demo data that's furniture, and I see I have some chairs, but I specifically would like to find a green chair. I don't have any green chairs. But is that true? I think I have green chairs. Well, with modern search, I do have green chairs, because the search is a lot smarter and it's trying to match on words, doesn't matter in their order, and it's not the same as it was. I can also see which fields have been included in the search. That's a little bit of tip. A new thing that we added along the way is we are showing like a search magnifying glass to show which fields are participating in the search. And of course, if you have some behaviors that you have from from the old search, you can always just quickly switch back to the legacy search, and it's going to work the same way as it was before. Cool. It's been released last October. I just want to resurface it again. Please start using it. Give us feedback. This is the way to make this faster and solve the performance issues that we see from time to time in production. Yes.
That's the next slide.
Yes, perfect. New things. This is going to be just a quick sneak peek because it was shown in a keynote, and there will be a dedicated session that I will plug after this. But we also are adding a lot of productivity features using Copilot. We're trying to find unique ways how Copilot could be providing value for users entering data. And Autofill is the first really awesome example of that, where Copilot is working together with a user and is helping them to fill in data quickly. We are able to track patterns of how users enter data, what most commonly values are set in the company, and Copilot is able to provide really smart defaults and fill out entire forms a lot more efficiently. That's one of the features. The other one is Summarize. Again, with Copilot, we are able to provide a summary of the entire page content and hopefully highlight the most important bits that users should be aware or should act on a page. To learn more about that, tomorrow there's an awesome session from Monica and Vasil who are going to really dive deep how that works. For now, there's no development story, so everyone gets that for free, but that's still something we're also thinking about how these features could interact with your IP as well. Cool. So now let's dive into a section where you do have to do something to get the value out of the features we're building. So let's talk about all the new AL APIs that we have added or changed.
Good. Let's get started. One thing that you've already seen in the keynote is that we've added the ability to preview PDFs within Business Central, where you don't need to any longer download them and then check them out. We know it can be very tedious in processes where you need to do this very often to look at PDFs, and then the old flow would be you need to download the PDF, have a look at it in your computer, and the next time you come to the same record and have to view that PDF again, well, you either download it again or you have to go and look into your file system, which takes time. So now you're able to just add the capability of previewing PDFs just within Business Central, and it's proven very useful to us for both of our agents. We've used it quite a lot, and you can do it too anywhere you want with this code snippet. So we have two different procedures that we've added for this. One for BC on-prem, where you can use the file view from stream procedure, and then just apply the in-stream, the file name. And in BC Online environments, you can use a very similar procedure called file view, where you define from what file you are looking to view this from. And I have a snippet on the right that shows shortly how you can view a PDF of your top 10 customers report. And all you need to do essentially is just create an outstream, save a report from your customers' top 10 list into the PDF format, into your outstream, and then just create the in-stream, view it, the file from the stream using this new procedure that we mentioned. What's important here is just that one line where you call this file view from stream. I'm not running any code now, but as I said, we're already using it quite extensively with all of our agent stories. So if I just go, for example, into the sales order agent, you can see email from Alicia. No, that one I didn't care about. In the email that's going to Diane, I can show the attachments. It's a sales quote PDF. Just click on it, and then you can see it directly in Business Central. And of course, we support many of the tools that are available for other PDF previewers as well, such as navigating between pages, zooming in, fitting it to the width of your window, to the height of your window, moving it around if it's zoomed in. and then downloading and saving and printing and so on. So it's quite useful. We're using it. I suggest you start using it as well. The next thing that we have for the AL changes that you can uptake is changes and updates in our barcode scanner. So we already supported quite a lot of barcode formats, and you can see a list on the left side of the screen. But what we also did is we added support for specifying what format you actually want to scan in AL. And this was also from a partner story. A partner reached out saying they were trying to scan a specific barcode. It was working great on iOS, and it was picking up the right format and just getting the right code. But when they tried on Android, for some reason, it thought it was another format, and it was just doing it wrong. So we added this new procedure where you can specify what barcode format you're looking to scan, and then you just make sure that we're focusing on the right one that you need, and you can see it right here. It's just request, barcode, async, and you specify the barcode formats as the first parameter. A little code snippet of how you do that. Again, the most important part in this one is that in your page that you're adding this control add-in, you define this user control with the camera barcode scanner provider add-in, and it's just a trigger. When your add-in is ready, you just need to call the barcode control, request barcode async, and you will see in this example, for example, I've provided two formats, the QR code and the data matrix, and that should be it. Really a very simple change that we hope really helps you succeed in all your scenarios. Next up.
Yes. A new page type. So we don't do that that often. Introducing a new page type is usually a big step for us because whatever we add, it has to stay there for a long time. But we think that control add-ins has finally matured to having their own page type. Because so far we have been relying on having all kinds of semi-hidden, documented in documentation, but not so straightforward for AL developers to discover patterns, how to display client add-ins. For example, there was a pattern, and still is, if you have a card page and the only control is the client add-in or user host control, then client add-in is going to show as a full control on that page. But then there would still be a lot of unuseful crust on the page that would not contribute to the usefulness of the page. So we finally thought that this is the time. We have a really important use cases on our end as well to make this a precedent. So we introduced a user control host page type. The pattern is very similar. Still, only one control that can be on this page is client add-in. And by having this client page type, first, we can start not relying on documented but not maybe well-known hidden patterns, how to display client add-ins. Next, we can also, since we have a dedicated display target, we can start optimizing the page for displaying the client add-in. So we can removing unnecessary like top header UI, like a new action, edit, and different modes in that as well. Yes, for now, this page type is still a bit locked down. You cannot extend it. You cannot add actions to it. But as we are playing around with this new page type and also hearing from you how you're using it, we'll be opening up some of the things and maybe adding more things specific to client add-ins to this page type. So we are really looking for your feedback, how you're using it. For example, I think the first thing that someone asked was, well, could you make it really full screen? That's a good idea. Maybe that's something we need to consider. Yes. So the first use of this was embedded Power BI reports. All of this experience is built on the new user host page type, and I'm going to show you how that looks. I'm on mine. As you can see, there's nothing in the header. There's very limited actions on the side as well. You can bookmark the page, you can pop it out, you can make it wider. In this case, it's not going to help just because of my resolution. There's page title, subtitle, and everything else is left for the report to fill in. So we're using it internally. At least for now, it serves our purpose, but of course we would like to hear what kind of scenarios you have, what you're missing, what you would like to have see in this new page type. Yes. Let's go next. Nope. Yes, telemetry. Thank you. Something new in our telemetry, also related to client add-ins, is we added a new event called CL0005. What it means is we are finally surfacing exceptions from client add-ins to partner telemetry. So it's easier for you to monitor how your client add-ins are behaving in production. You also can get a signal if some of the client add-ins imported from different partner extensions are also misbehaving in your tenant. You get mostly for, I guess, for AL developers not familiar, but for JavaScript developers familiar exception stacks that you can analyze, and we hope is going to help you to discover what is happening in client add-ins, because sometimes they might be the source of some of the performance problems or maybe pages being stuck, and it was so far not visible because it would not show, for example, in AL errors if JavaScript is misbehaving in a client add-in. Yes, other point, right, client add-in exceptions. I thought I had some really good point about that. Maybe not.
Talk about it in the end.
Just talk about it. So now, the hidden part of our section, from the lab.
Exciting session. I think it's become a tradition now that we show you a few things that we're working on, always under the disclaimer that things can change, they may be shipped differently, but it's still fun to have a look at what we're doing. So first thing that we wanted to show you from the lab is actually the capability to collapse panes in Business Central. This is relevant, and actually this started because, as you know, we do a lot of accessibility work trying to keep Business Central everywhere accessible, and we also have to support users that are zooming in, for example, to 400%, and they have a very small window, and they need to be able to use everything in Business Central, so the item card and the help, but also any one of us, when you're trying to use Business Central side by side with some document, maybe Word, Excel, whatever you need, then the window becomes quite small, and as you are working with these panes alongside data entry or anything else you might be doing, the space that you get left over for the main page is actually quite small. So what this brought us to is just adding the capability to collapse any pane, not any pane, these three panes that I mentioned, and probably in the future also the other ones. So we've added this button that you see right next to the close button, which is the button that collapses the pane. And then what happens is, from taking up all that space, the pane actually just switches to this very narrow ribbon on the side. It's not closed, it's still there. All of the context, whatever you were searching for in help is still there. It's just not taking up that space anymore. And anytime you need to get back to it, you just click on that question mark to reopen the help pane. And as I said, this is also available for a couple other panes, such as page scripting. Same thing again, the same button, the same scenario. You just have it on the side, finish anything you need to do in the main page. Whenever you need to actually do something in the pane, just go back and open it. Similar thing with our Copilot pane, with the tasks. We have a lot of scenarios in there as well where you need to look at the tasks side by side with the page that they're related to. That might be your sales quote, your sales order, your purchase invoice, whatever it is. And if your window is narrow enough, you think you don't get enough space, again, just collapse that pane, get back to it whenever you need it. It will be right as you left off. Another thing is we just showed you the ability to preview PDFs within Business Central, but the thing is, when we first added that feature, we didn't really add support for password-protected PDFs, so you'd have to do that same old thing again, where you download things and then you go looking for them, or you re-download them, which is not fun, right? If you can preview PDFs in Business Central, why not preview all of them? So now we've added support for that, and we just show you this native dialog where you can type in your password, and if your password is correct, you just preview that PDF as any other within Business Central. And we can see that right here. So I did add a very secret password-protected PDF to this customer, and I can see it here listed in my attachments. So if I click on it, I will get this enter password dialog, and if I type random things in there, it won't let me see it, of course. We're not playing with security over here. But if I do know what the password is, hoping I do remember, I try again, and it works, and the secret is that the PDF is password protected. So yeah, that's it. When you're done, of course, you can close it. Anytime you try to open it again, you need to type the password again. We're not playing with security. And that's it for PDFs. What else do we have from the lab?
Yeah, and just about a PDF, it's a feature of a PDF, so it's not something added on top or from AL or Business Central side. You have to do that at the generation of PDF time. So it's an inbuilt feature of PDFs. Yes, what else? For all the demos we do, it might look that only thing we do is Copilot that, Copilot this, but actually there's a lot other things that are very important to us as well to improve. Security, of course, being #1 priority for Microsoft, but we're also seriously looking at performance and trying to make our minimum bar is to make it faster each version than it was before. And for the client team, we also have some work to do, and we're continuously trying to make the client leaner, to make it smaller, because we definitely see that it's an issue for slower machines or users using slower network speeds, because also every time there's a hotfix, all the scripts are new again. So every time you open your laptop on Monday, well, you need to get all the new bits. It doesn't necessarily happen on a Monday, but every time there's a new version, you have to download them again. They cache with your browser, and subsequent open is better, but still, that initial hit is just a lot of unnecessary work that we would like to minimize. So in our journey, one of the things we really wanted to do first was to get rid of jQuery. A bit of backstory in mostly web development is jQuery was the one tool, the one dependency that everyone had in their web pages, because it was doing a lot of awesome syntactic and sometimes implementation sugar over very immature web APIs. But over time, web became a lot smarter, more powerful, and now we're running full ERP software and SMB software in a browser. That's how far we went. But we kept jQuery along the way with us in the journey. But finally, we figured out that now is the time. Actually, we have mostly everything we need in the standard browser APIs, and we don't need jQuery anymore. It's just another library that we're taking dependency on, and from security perspective, that's one more, just broadens our attack surface. Every time there's vulnerability reported in jQuery, well, we need to ship, we need to produce new on-prem builds as well, so everyone can uptake it. So it's a tax to pay. So now we don't have jQuery anymore. Yay! What that means for yes, what that means for end users is a smaller bundle size. There was a lot of code that was not used anyway, so now that's just simply cut from the bundle. That's top of my mind, maybe 200 kilobytes off from the bundle size, and on slower networks, it really matters. Another thing is we in general try to reduce client bundle size. We're trying to figure out different ways how to modularize our code better, so we can on-demand import code as we need. For example, one of the examples of that would be designer and personalization experience. So actually, if users are not using it, it's completely unloaded and not active in the web client. The moment you click on it, of course, the downside of that is the moment you click on it, then we need to get all the scripts for that experience, and that initial entering that experience is a bit slower. But that actually happens a lot less than everyone else paying that tax every single time they opening web client. So that's our way to reduce client bundle size, trying to be a lot smarter distributing it. I would like to be able to show some numbers, but it's just a continuous process, and we usually can take snapshots at the end of the releases, and now we're kind of in the middle of it. Then as well, for the next wave, we have a goal, it's kind of continuous goal to always try to see what is the next 20% we can cut in page running times as well. What we can make it, how can we make it more efficient? Because again, for fast devices, it almost doesn't matter. If you have the latest hardware, it's so fast that all inefficiencies are just covered by the hardware doing all the hard work. But accountants is probably not running on gamer PCs or even latest, I don't know, Surface Books. And we need to acknowledge that. And that's why we always keep looking for opportunities to make rendering faster. Yes. And lastly, we're also looking, again, at the network. We're trying to see how we can do more with less network requests, because every time we need to go back and forth, even though we are using WebSockets, we don't need to open HTTP connection every time. Still, we can be a lot more efficient, so we have made some improvements of how many initial rows we have ready on the page, so we don't need to fetch it and do this dynamic loading. And it's helping. Our telemetry is showing that all of this is slowly trying to build by build, making everything faster. So yeah, and that's it. Thank you all for listening. This was a big overview of all the new things in web client for AL developers. Thank you.
Thank you. We do have some time left over, so if anyone has a question, and they do,
have questions.
I don't think I'm the right person to throw
I
that
can throw.
thing, so.
Actually, do we have T-shirts? We have been promised 3 T-shirts.
We were promised T-shirts.
I'll start throwing, and then we'll figure out T-shirts.
Yes, users, they like the new key tips or keyboard shortcuts, but they are annoyed when they're not the same. For instance, in a worksheet page, you can use the Windows shortcut Shift-Delete for deleting a row, but in an editable list page, the shortcut is Alt-CD. Why is that different?
Every time, so we have an algorithm, and Erida knows a lot about how it was implemented, but the design goal of it was that it is adaptable. We tried to, thank you. We tried to make it as persistent as we could along the pages, but if the layout of the page, meaning the controls on the page that are active, is different, there is a chance that the generation will be different. If you really want to lock it down, application keyboard shortcuts is the way to go. Then it's not going to be changed. It's going to stay the same way all the time.
Well, we have tried to create some consistency throughout pages, so there's a lot of that dynamic determination of what the key tip will be that is determined for everything. We typically try to prioritize everything that comes first, because those are center and first and foremost. But we have tried things like on every page that you open, creating a new record should have the same shortcut, and I believe deleting should also have the same shortcut. So if you just come by and let me take a note, maybe it's something that we can fix and make that the same in all different pages. I know we have done that for a few things, because as Tomas said, once people get used to it and you create the habits, we really don't want to break it for you. So for those things that are used quite a lot, we do support having the same access key in different pages.
Thanks.
Let's trade. Thank you. Let's try there.
Yeah, one question. You have mentioned that we will be able basically to preview PDF files, but in future would be an opportunity to preview any other different types of files, for example, Word, Excel, maybe pictures, whatever else, to preview mode.
That's an idea. We just need some votes on that, and then we can see how we can prioritize the file types. Technically, yes, that could definitely be possible to do.
But currently, is this new function that is customization, is it like limited to PDF files only, or we can try to send there something different?
No, just PDF files.
I think this one is limited to PDF.
Okay, thanks.
Let's trade. Oh,
Next up.
some here. Oh, sorry, that was a headshot.
I have a question about the new PDF preview. If I update the report layout, does this affect existing previews, or need they to be reloaded?
I don't think that's related. Like, we just displaying PDF as it is.
Okay, but it was attached as a file, and is this created every time I open a page?
No.
Because if a report layout eventually hotfix is made in a layout, and in the preview for the customer, the hotfix is still not shown? Or does this get updated when the report layout is updated?
So the way the EL API is that you're always streaming data, the new data. So I guess it's up to you. We could discuss the scenario a bit further, but we always show the up-to-date version that you provided through streaming through the API. So whatever is the view in the data, that's what we're going to display.
Okay.
But let's discuss.
Next question. Hands up?
Yeah,
Maybe
I'm being blinded by the light, so excuse me.
Can you get it a bit closer?
And now?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So also question to this PDF thing. So I'm wondering maybe if it is possible or it will be possible in the future to print PDF directly, like not to open, preview and print, just to call some command from code and to print it to some printer.
That's already possible through different APIs, through cloud printing. That would be the way to go.
Okay, on premise?
Yeah, don't have comment for that.
Thanks.
So I think we have 3 more minutes to our next session. Maybe we take just a couple more questions and then we switch.
Are there any plans for the future to improve the Tell Me search, for example, adding a fuzzy search to it or search history?
That's something we could have included from the lab. Yes, we are very actively looking into that. I think we need to stop here because we need to set up for the next session. But now you know our faces, our names. Please find us somewhere in the conference or in the Microsoft booth. We're going to answer more questions. Thank you.
Or just write them on the Whova session. We can also have a look there.
Yes.
Thank you.